you could tell me back in that time, just tell me your name, your rank, and what your job was in the Navy.
My name is Jason Turner. I was a Petty Officer 3rd Class. I worked in supply on the USS Princeton. I transferred over to medical, and just about the time that this happened, I was in supply transferring to medical. So I was on the back of the ship when everything took place.
So how long were you in the Navy up until that point, and what were you doing out there off of San Diego?
We were doing a training exercise with the USS Nimitz. I had been in the Navy for 3.5 years at that time.
So take me back to that week, or that, of course that month, the whole thing was kind of odd, but go back to, like, say, November 10th. This was all before anything went down. Your job wasn't necessarily in combat, so was there anything going on in the ship that was rumors or people talking about it?
Yeah, there was a lot of rumor mill going around about, things happening. Nobody really knew for sure. You could tell, like, the whole feeling in the ship had just went south, and people were talking under their breath about things. And of course, there were a lot of people that were tight-lipped about what was happening.
When you have an ADEX training coming up, does the mood does that change anything, or is that kind of already always going on? So no, it's no different.
Yeah, it's no different than your typical day out training, because we do workup cycles for what, 6 months prior to deployment. So it's just another training cycle.
And what does USS Princeton do? Can you see the carrier? Are you like there? Or are you miles away? And how do you support the carrier?
Typically, we're within a few miles of the.
Hold on, Gary. Sorry, that. I'll
Yeah.
pick that up. So Princeton and Nimitz.
Yeah, typically we are within a few miles of the Nimitz. When they do air operations, we're typically right behind them, about a mile, doing, I forget what they call it.
Oh, that doesn't matter, just,
Yeah, but we're behind the Nimitz to make sure that there's, if anything goes wrong with their planes, we can go recover their planes. The time where we were there, they were doing their air warfare exercises. So we were quite a few miles apart at the time that this took place. Then we went to battle stations, and then they started launching planes to go after these guys.
So going up to that event, obviously you weren't there. So on that day with the ADEX training, before you saw any video or anything, or you knew any, were you aware that there was anything going on with intercepts?
Not with the intercepts, no. That was another thing that was pretty tight-lipped at the time.
And okay, so then go through how you became aware of that something odd was afoot, and one of your buddies contacted you?
I had a friend that worked in the ship's signal exploitation space, and I had taken up some computer parts, and when I saw the video was when I took those up there. And
was that a classified space, and how did you come that you're able to go in there?
Yes, it's a classified space. I had a top secret clearance, so I was allowed to go in there. I was very limited on what I could see, except for the screen that was on.
So when he first, contacted you, or you saw him, what did he tell you about it?
Nothing.
I mean, did he say, hey, you got to come check this video out, or what was the?
Well, when I was in there, yeah, that's when I saw the video. Sorry, I saw the video, and I asked him, was this what was happening? And he confirmed that it was happening.
Did he say, hey, Jason, man, come and meet me in Cess, because I got to show you a video, or were you already there? And he was like, hey, come over and check this.
Right. No, I was already in the space, and he and I were good friends, and I got to see the video.
So how did he get his hands on it, and how was he able to show it on a console, or?
I'm not sure how they get it, but it was on the console. When you walk into CES, it was on the left, the first computer on the left.
So on these Navy ships, there's a network that's secret, or how do they share stuff between ships? And
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so now take me through that. Give me a play-by-play. So you walk over and you're looking at this image. Describe what you see.
So I walked in, and I was bringing some computer parts to them, and I looked to my left, and I saw this video playing, and I'd ask him, is this what we're training, or what's part of this training that we're going through? And he said, no, this is real life. And when I saw it, it was a very clear image, a very clear video, and this thing was going berserk, like making turns. Like, it's incredible the amount of G-forces that it would put on a human that this thing was doing. The jets were like trying to trail this thing, and it would just run off and leave them. It would just poof, gone, and then it would come back, and then you would see it, and then it made a maneuver, like they were chasing it straight on. It was going with them. This thing stopped, turned, and just phew, gone. I mean, that's the only way to describe what it looked like. I mean, in an instant. Like what the video you see now, that's just a small snippet in the beginning of the whole video, and you're seeing smooth little turns lefts and rights, but this thing, it was so much more than what you see in this video.
Now, the quality-wise, was it different than what you see now?
Yes, the quality of it was very clear. It would switch in between the FLIR. It was like you would have a dark signature, heat signature, or a light heat signature, but it was always really clear. Like now, what you see now is very grainy, very fuzzy, hardly identifiable. But
and looking at that object in your memory, the shape of it, any features on it, color, was anything kind of stood out to you as being odd with it?
Just the shape of it. There was no color. It was all black and white, or reversed image black and white. But it did have some protruding objects at the bottom of it. I couldn't tell if they were curled back or straight down, because I was a good 5-10 feet from the video feed. But there were definitely legs on the bottom of it. I mean, it was oblong, like a Tic Tac.
Have you ever seen any aircraft that looked like that?
Not in my whole life. I've never seen an aircraft that looked like that, ever.
And I think what was the approximate length of that video?
Between 7 to 10 minutes, just from a guesstimation of how long I stood there and watched this thing, and then it started over.
Some people have said that the video that we have is fake, that somebody put it on some computer graphics website in Germany, and that probably was planted there by somebody, and the government is a conspiracy, and that thing's not real, and all that. In the case of this one, what do you say to that?
This is an actual event that happened, and I witnessed it. This is not some made up whatever. This is for real. This happened.
In that video, you vouch for
I'd go to my grave vouching for that thing to be real, or that video.
So, Kevin and Gary, obviously they were more in the know and so on in combat. He was saying that there came a time after this when these guys would kind of sneak away. They'd go up on the bridge wing and they would try to find it. And he said there was a crowd at one point of like people, like I guess standing in line or something. Did you have any to do with that? Or
no, I had nothing to do with that. I never went up to the big guys and looked through them to see it or anything.
Because that wasn't your job description.
Right. That I never went up there other than when I'm bored.
So, one of your duties was an extra duty was to go up and do smash and crash. Gary kind of explained what that was. That day, do you have any remembrance? Kind of around that time, it would have been before you saw the video. It was that day of the intercept, the day before, of helicopters landing.
I don't remember.
Because it probably happened so often that to like pick out one instance.
Right.
The defining thing in that one was that a helicopter landed, and guys got off it that were in like plain clothes. They weren't in Navy uniforms. They were like in suits or just plain clothes, and I
don't remember that.
Okay. So now you did say that later on, when you went back to port, and I'm getting this stuff, it's like 32nd Street?
Yeah, 32nd Street Naval Base, yeah.
So when you went back, that you actually did witness some guys come up.
Right before when the brow went across, that's when they came, the people, I don't know who they were, come on board before we were able to leave.
And they came aboard, and did you see them walk off? I mean, do you know anything about it, or you saw them come on?
No, I saw them come on, and then I went back down to my space, and then they released everybody.
And in the weeks following that and so on, did you ever hear any more about it, or would people talk about it?
I mean, people talked about it, you know, just casually. I mean, we all experienced it. So.
And then going past that in your Navy, when you got out and all, had you ever heard anything more? When was the next time you heard about it?
The last time I heard about it after it happened was around 2008, 2009. And it was, I forget where I heard it. I was living in Virginia at the time, and I heard about it. And then that was the last time I heard about it until recently, until Kevin and until they all come out. And
So who did you contact first, or how did you contact them and so on?
I think,
I mean, the question I'm asking is, I'm trying to figure out, like, Kevin, I know, came out on the internet, and then he brought Gary along, and some people you contacted me, but I don't know if you contacted somebody else before me, but you said, hey, I saw your film, I was there.
yeah, I think when I first got back, when I first contacted someone, I saw it on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And then on our USS Princeton group, we had posted pictures and articles about it over the past couple of years, and then most recently was the video, the Nimitz Encounters video.
That's why I asked, because I'm trying to, like, change this video as time goes on. Like, why make it one video that just ends and then that's it? I'm like, I'll just keep making new videos every time there's new stuff. So it seems like this video is kind of almost playing a part in the story, because people see it and then come forward and tell their story.
Right. And it's vindication for us that other people are looking into it, and we finally tell our story and people listen.
So, as a veteran that kind of knew about it, obviously you weren't that involved, but has it been a positive experience, kind of getting together with the guys?
Oh yeah, it's been a very positive experience for us to get back together and be able to tell our stories collectively from different vantage points, viewpoints, and just being able to get the truth out there that this did happen, and that's what we want.
And what would you say to other vets that maybe haven't spoken about it, or they have knowledge? We know there's a lot, and they're on the fence. Do you want them to talk to you guys?
Yeah, don't be afraid to come out and talk. We need your help. We need to be able to get the story out and get to the bottom of what happened.
That's an important point. What do you think that we were looking at there, and what would you like to see happen?
I really don't know what we were looking at. It could be ultra military equipment that was used against us to see how we were going to react. Who knows? I mean, just finding out what this was, to me, is the ultimate goal. What were we subjected to?
The big problem I see with this is that if there's something that basically does barrel rolls around our advanced fighters, and we can operate with impunity in our, strike groups area, that's a national security threat. So do you think that the Congress and our leaders should actually take this seriously and try to find an answer?
Absolutely, because it puts everybody at risk. It puts our military at risk, it puts our people at risk, our homeland at risk, if there are things that just are far superior to us, to our capabilities.
A naval strike group, obviously, is one of the most powerful groups in the Navy, and if we have things like this that are, kind of threatening that, or again, maybe not threatening it, but just able to zip around, that's a first line of defense, right?
Right. When the battle group's out there, they're the ones who are going to, when there's national emergencies, you're the one that's getting the call. You're launching. Or if you're on the East Coast, you launch from the base. But, globally, we're the ones that go first. We launch our planes, we protect the homeland on the seas.
And we pretty much analyze our, our adversaries' capabilities and know what to do, because we kind of analyze it and we have intelligence. And from what you saw in that video, it didn't seem like we knew what to do.
We didn't know what to do. The pilots didn't know what to do at all, because they were maneuvering with it, and this thing just left them, just sitting there like it was nothing.
Awesome.